Good morning. How are we? Hope you're all good. And we've had a great week, Friday already, which is why I'm replying to a question I had about any tips about how to not completely fall off the bandwagon with social events, with meals out, like takeaway. Friends, family tend to be getting more together now, which is great. And then you've got outdoor pubs opening from Monday, so more opportunities to get together, eat out. And this is coming together. And it's funny, when you just take a step back and how this is now a problem. Morning, Judith. Morning, Paula. Give me a hello if you're coming in. This is what we wanted, right? And it shouldn't be a problem. If I first talk about where we're at with this, because is this because completely falling off the bandwagon because you are always consistently trying to lose weight? And the reason I'm saying this is because you don't have to always be trying to lose weight, yet most of us are always trying to lose weight rather than going through periods where I say, I'm actually going to maintain a little bit. It's like I talked about Hazel's story the other day, how she is 2 stone down, but the last stone, she actually went through periods where she wasn't even trying to lose weight. It was like more maintenance period, and actually with her exercise as well. But there was times where it wasn't all go, go, go and push for it. And my point in this is sometimes our relationship with food around this time. Good morning, Sue. Our relationship with food, the good can cause the bad because we're so good, quote unquote, that it makes us bad. And then we're like, we shouldn't eat that. I've gone off plan now. And the less on off we can be, sometimes the better. And that's where having sometimes a really simple rule can really help. And I'm going to go into this now before going over a few strategies that could help, okay? So what we find really successful is if you come up with this rule, this plan for yourself, with us, of course, and it's good to have input on it. But the moment I tell you that you shouldn't eat this or should eat that, generally, not for everyone, this is why it's so specific and why we have those one-to-ones, generally, people will start to just resent that after a few weeks because we don't like to be told what to do, okay? You got to go to bed to a toddler. I'm not going to bed. Do you know what? Let's read a story in bed. Oh, yes, let's read a story in bed. Different way we see it. Do you want to read this story or this story tonight? That one. Cool, let's go. Differences in how we say it. And little do we know in our head just how much psychology plays a role. And this is a bit of a tangent, but generally at weekends, if we're lower on sleep and we're more tired, we've been stressed in the week. When we're stressed and tired, our perception of food as more rewarding happens, and we are then more likely to overeat, especially if we're surrounded by more food. And then we maybe get bloated, we're a bit more full up than normal. Then we often look for a really kind of drastic solution to that. Like, am I gluten intolerant? Am I intolerant to something else because I'm now bloated? But actually, we've just been stressed, quite tired. Then we've maybe overeaten a bit. And my point in this is sometimes we're looking for that drastic solution when actually we just needed to get more sleep, or we needed to actually do some self-care and see self-care as rest sometimes. This is a massive tangent, by the way. But, if I was to ask, and because I nap quite a lot, if I ask my daughters, if I say, I'm a little bit tired, what should I do? Go to sleep, go for a nap, they'll say. Isn't it interesting how a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old will say that to me? But yet, if we say it to ourselves sometimes, there's guilt, that's lazy, we shouldn't do that. But yet, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old can tell you that. It makes us think, it makes us step back and go, actually, do I just need some self-care and an early night and some sleep and rest here so that I can make better choices tomorrow, so that I'm feeling more refreshed, so I'm not looking for that dopamine from food, that pick-me-up, that sugar pick-me-up. Now, I'm going to go into a few strategies now to go over this. And in terms of like the one rule, if you like, that you can create on this, because it's not for me to tell you what's healthy and what's not healthy here. But what I will say is that if you can look at maybe something that you're doing at a social event. Like they've shown that if there's like maybe a barbecue buffet, you just say, I'm going to look around at what there is, then pick up a plate and help myself to what the food is, argument's sake. Rather than have a bit of that, have a bit of that, oh, I didn't see that, or I didn't see that as well. Number 2 is to pick the social events that you're going to go to town on a little bit. So maybe just have a few in your head that you're going to go, yeah, I'm going to go all out of that one. At that one, I'm just going to have more protein base, more fiber, and I'm going to go think full and satisfied with my meals. Like, it doesn't have to be an avoidance strategy at all. And if it is, I would argue, is that strategy even long term? Because the psychosocial benefits of actually eating out, eating together are huge too. But there's always a good choice you can make. Like last weekend, we had a curry takeaway. It doesn't mean I've gone off plan. I can make a better choice. I can make a worse choice in that. But it's making the choice that actually makes you happy as well. Now, of course, sometimes these can be misled because of our good intentions. Like we might think that a certain meal is actually healthy when maybe it's higher calorie or not as healthy, quote unquote, as we... Healthy's a very loose term these days, isn't it? But morning, Jane. Morning, Tina. So what I would also say around this weekend is, can you get as many steps in as possible? Like get walks in where possible. Like it doesn't have to be all about food when we're seeing people, when we're socializing. And I know a lot of people have got into more walks as well. Good morning, Sue. So thinking full and satisfied. Don't forget, like, the principles throughout the week. Like if it's one meal, is that really going to make a difference? Or is it your thoughts about the meal that is the issue? Oh, I'm going to mess up. Oh, I've messed up Saturday, so I might as well mess up Saturday evening. Might as well mess up Sunday. I'll start again Monday. That's a day or so added on, when we could have just gone, this is the choice I'm making. At least make the choice and then enjoy it. And if you make the choice and enjoy it and make it part of the plan rather than not a part, it's a bit like yesterday I had a chat with someone about their snacking. They said, my biggest problem is that sometimes I haven't got the right things in the house. So I just snack on a bit of rubbish. So how can you flip that and then say, okay, you just plan a snacking in the morning as part of your plan, regardless of whether you've got the right stuff in the house or not. So if you've got a Snickers bar in the cupboard, just say my snack today is going to be a Snickers bar if I want it. And for her, that works great, because then there's no pressure on the shopping, anything like that. And then she's got the choice to have it if she wants. Then, if she has it, it's part of the plan, so that's fine. Enjoy it. Enjoy every mouthful, the feel, everything. Be more aware of the experience when you're eating it, rather than going, can't believe I'm just eating this. Shouldn't be eating it. Shouldn't be eating it, but I'll just be eating it again. Make it a part of the plan. All of a sudden, it's less of a big thing, and it's a part of the plan. And then, guess what normally happens? With some people, obviously it's very personal. Then we're actually like, yeah, actually, now I can have it. Maybe I will have something a bit more nutritious. But again, if the Snickers bar makes you, I've worked with people before, and they've swapped a latte for a Snickers bar and a latte with coconut milk, made the calories quite similar, and it's like, oh, that is now a big part of my diet, and that's what I love to do. And it's these little tweaks sometimes which can have such a big impact. So, eating out again. So, eating big but less often can be a strategy. So I know I spoke to someone the other day, and what they find really helpful to do is to, because none of the family are really around in the morning, is to not have breakfast. And I know this isn't for everyone, because if you're snacking mid-morning, then if you're starving, it's not for you. But for them, it's like they just eat breakfast because they thought it was good. So, for them, it's like, well, I can go without it. I can just have a coffee, and then at lunchtime, eat a little bit bigger, got a bit more to play with, and at dinner as well, where we're together a bit more. That's another strategy for you. Okay? Focus on company, not food. This sounds really obvious, but like I said, there's more to... I can't believe I'm saying this. More to life than food. We can focus on company too. Aim for pretty good, not perfect. Because the more consistent you are, if you're just kind of 70-30 on more consistently, and you're really getting your protein, your fibre and your water right 80%, 70% of the time, the rest will pretty much take care of itself, because there's only so much you can really eat. And then that gives you the flexibility. We find that works best, that flexibility to go, yeah, I'm going to have that as part of it. Give yourself permission to have that. Because also then, when that social event comes, rather than going, I'm going to have everything now, like the Last Supper effect, and then start again on Monday, morning Jill, we instead can make a more considered approach and just enjoy that for a meal for what it is. And then we're more likely to remember the difference between being satisfied and being full up, because there is a difference between feeling satisfied and feeling full up. Okay? Feeling satisfied and having enough versus full up. Okay, and finally, don't stress too much, especially during this time. It's about aligning your actions with your values and what you want to do. Give yourself permission to do what you want to do, and if it makes you happy, that's great. The only issue is if it doesn't make you happy. Then you've got to consider why you made the choice, and then it can go a bit deeper. Was it to please others? Was it boredom? Was it tiredness, like I said before? Maybe I should have a round table. We can say, right, how are you feeling? Tired. Then I'll get the toddlers in. They'll say, what do you say to people who feel tired? Go to sleep. They love that game, by the way. It's their favourite game. And luckily, when I'm on daddy daycare, they just put me to sleep. I don't always fall asleep though, don't worry. Anyway, how are we? All good. So, I hope that helps. It's just some little tips in there, little things that you can maybe apply for this. And the key take home should be not to think that you have to be perfect, because sometimes that's the actual issue in itself. So, and just remember, keep it really simple. The basics outside of that, the protein, the fibre, the water, are we sticking to them in the first place? Because it's not what we do one day that dictates our results, it's actually what we do over the week. You wouldn't say, oh, I've just bought a new car. Bloody hell, I've just bought a new car, so I might as well buy 7 new cars. We wouldn't do that, would we? But when it comes to foods, I'm like, oh, I've just had a burger. I might as well have cake, 2 more burgers now. So treat it like a weekly basis. Like every decision is a decision in isolation. Like every day is a day in isolation. Can you just make today a good day? Whatever that means to you. Because it's got to be your thing. But I would simplify it down to one thing that you do. Whether that's, right, I'm going to eat big but less often. Lunch and dinner. Because they're the meals we're going to have together as a social event. For other people though, it might be better actually having a meal before you go in. Like a high protein, high fibre meal, which is quite filling. It really has to be personal to you. So, I hope that helps. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care.